My name's Nicole Rivas, and I primarily work in fiction writing. Specifically, I tend to write what's called flash fiction, which are really short, compact stories. I would say the most challenging aspect of writing for me is silencing my inner critic. I think that's something a lot of artists deal with, and maybe people in general, but getting past that little voice in your head that says, you're unoriginal or your writing's not good, that's always been a challenge. But I will say that having the time and the space in the studio has been really awesome to just get into the practice of, opening up my laptop and just typing without self-editing and without worrying too much about how good or bad the writing is, just getting it out and creating. So what inspires me to write is lots of things. I think the main thing for me is kind of the human condition in general. I think people are very interesting. All of our desires, our fears, our contradictions, and that's something that I try to capture a lot in my stories, is sort of character studies of interesting people. Another thing that also inspires me to write, and that I've sort of incorporated during my time here with the artist in residency, is just relics of the past, ephemera. I get a lot of inspiration from going thrift store shopping or antique shopping, and those sorts of, those relics from the past are just really inspiring to me. So for me, the most rewarding aspect of writing a story is kind of like the self-exploration I experience when I'm writing. I sort of equate it to like these doors within myself opening up. So it's a really unique experience in that way, and a deeply personal experience. I think writing for me can also be a way to make sense of or sort of work through difficult events or difficult feelings. I love sitting down and giving myself that time. It almost feels to some extent like self-care. In terms of process, my favorite aspect, I think, is starting. It's always fun and exciting to start something new, and you've got all these ideas, ricocheting around in your head. The least favorite aspect of writing for me, it's a toss-up between endings, because those are just really tough, and you want to leave the reader with something that's powerful, that feels like closure, but that isn't predictable. Toss-up between that and trying to figure that puzzle out, and also just revision. Revision in writing can be really mucky, dirty, confusing work, especially the longer the piece is. In terms of what my writing brings to others, or what I hope it brings to others, I hope a sense of connectedness. I think I try to portray a wide array of characters that are diverse and have diverse experiences, but they're also experiences that are rooted in, human emotions that I think a lot of us have, like fear or jealousy or regret, uncertainty. So I hope that as I'm writing and working through those difficult emotions and exploring those, that hopefully other people, can find answers or just kinship in those characters as well. I would say one of my favorite works is my recent short story collection, Tender Hoof. The title Tender Hoof comes from one of the stories. It's this weird story about a living couch. So it's a leather couch, but like the couch is still alive. Some of my stories are a little bit more fantastical in that way. And that story is sort of deeply rooted in like nostalgia and coming of age, and this sort of feeling of uncertainty with like moving into like a different life stage. And that's a theme I commonly return to. So that was sort of, I felt like a fitting title. And there's a story in there, it's the last story in the collection, and it's called Hatched. And that story was also anthologized in a W.W. Norton anthology called Flash Fiction America, just US writers of flash fiction. So that was a really fun story to write. I like to sort of rip the Band-Aid off and write a whole lot at once and then go back and edit. So that's what I've done, is just sort of dove in this summer, written a whole novella, and it's been a really fun exploratory process. It's my first longer piece of writing, so it's been super exciting. So one of the programs that I offered here at the library was an intro to flash fiction. And so what we did was I gave all of the students in the workshop prompts to work with. And for some of them, it was their first time really ever writing anything that was like prose or flash fiction. A lot of people didn't know what flash fiction was. So it was really fun to have people explore, and I was really excited to see how much people were willing to get outside of their comfort zone and try something new and maybe write in a different style than what they were used to. So that was a really excellent, fun, exploratory workshop that we had here. I've had a lot of fun interactions with people in the community during my time as artist in residence. During the meet and greet hours, for the most part, I always had at least one person come by. Oftentimes, people that would come by were other artists or people who were interested in writing, but like maybe weren't fully calling themselves writers yet, but had either poems on their phone to show me or something to bring in that they wanted some feedback on. So I really enjoyed that, and just seeing how many members of our community are creative. I had several people come up to me and just say that the class had basically jump-started their creativity. And I think that's the biggest compliment I could ever receive, to have someone tell you that you're the reason, or your class is the reason that they're writing again or they're creating again. That's like the best thing imaginable for me.